I really liked that the Catholic Church was just really old.
Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Dinesh, a Catholic commentator from Sydney, Australia. Today we are diving into a remarkable story, the Catholic conversion of Republican vice presidential candidate JD Vance. It's not every day we see a Catholic rise to such high levels of American leadership, making the spiritual journey even more compelling. In fact, did you know that in the 250-year history of the United States, JD Vance would be the first Catholic vice president apart from Joe Biden to run for the office as a Catholic? Now let's talk about his conversion. As an young boy, JD Vance was heavily influenced by his grandmother's non-denominational spirituality. However, as life challenges intensified, he gradually drifted into atheism, spending several years without faith. Yet, it was the profound wisdom of one of the church's greatest minds, St. Augustine, that ultimately brought Vance back to Christianity and eventually to the Catholic faith. But what was it that anchored Vance in Catholicism after years of searching? Vance says that he became Catholic because he realized that the Catholic Church was old. This might seem like a surprising reason to some, but it echoes the profound insight of St. John Henry Newman, who famously said, "To be deep in history is to cease to be a Protestant." In Vance's case, it wasn't just the faith itself, but the Church's 2,000-year-old legacy of truth, tradition, and continuity that ultimately drew him in. So what is it about this history that makes the Catholic Church so compelling? And why should it resonate with anyone seeking the truth? Today, we will explore the mystery of the Church's enduring strength and what it means for each of us. Let's begin by hearing a powerful moment from JD Vance.
So you were raised a non-denominational Christian. I understand you were never baptized. You've also said you went through an angry atheist phase, as you called it. But in 2019, you took the plunge, and you were received into the Catholic Church. Tell us about that journey.
Well, first, it's good to be home, and I do think the Catholic Church is my home. To me, look, there are all these ways that I could over-intellectualize the way that I became a Catholic. I mean, one, I really liked that the Catholic Church was just really old. I felt like the modern world was constantly in flux. The things that you believed 10 years ago were no longer even acceptable to believe 10 years later. The Catholic Church was just very old. I liked the fact that I felt like it had stood really strong on some of the core moral issues.
So after hearing that, you might wonder, why does the Church's long history matter? The first implication is continuity. The Catholic Church's significance lies not just in its age, but in its continuous preservation of faith and tradition for over 2,000 years. Despite societal changes, wars, and revolutions, the Church has remained steadfast in guarding the teachings handed down from the apostles. Also, this historical continuity links modern Catholics directly to the earliest Christians, maintaining an unbroken chain of teachings, traditions, and sacraments that have sustained believers through the ages. And finally, the Church's survival over millennia is not by chance. It's a powerful testament to the truth of its message and the enduring grace of God working through it, as JD Vance recognized. The second implication is moral consistency and infallibility. The Catholic Church has consistently upheld its moral teachings since the early centuries of Christianity, resisting the influence of changing cultural trends and political climates. The Church's teachings are not based on personal interpretation, but are firmly grounded in divine revelation and natural law. This provides a stable foundation for moral guidance, unaffected by societal pressures. And finally, Christ's promise that the gates of hell shall not prevail against it guarantees the infallibility of the Church's teaching. This means the Church cannot lead believers astray, offering unwavering guidance in matters of faith and morality. The third implication is apostolic authority. Apostolic authority originates directly from Christ, who commissioned the apostles to preach, administer the sacraments, and govern the Church. This authority is fundamental to the Church's authenticity. It is through this apostolic succession the apostles conferred their authority to their successors via the laying on of hands. This unbroken chain ensures that the Church remains faithful to the Christ's original commission. Without apostolic authority, there is no guarantee that a church is truly following Christ's intentions or transmitting his teachings faithfully. In the spiritual realm, authority is given, not taken. Anyone can start a church and claim authority, but a true apostolic succession is what guarantees faithfulness to Christ's mission. To conclude, I want to leave you with the powerful words of St. Pope John Paul II. The church is the bearer of the mystery of Christ, spanning 2 millennia, sustained by the unbroken chain of apostolic succession and the unshakable rock of Peter. The Catholic Church's enduring strength lies in its continuity, moral consistency, and apostolic authority. For JD Vance, it was this recognition of the Church's ancient roots and steadfast mission that brought him to embrace Catholicism. And these same truths continue to resonate with millions of believers today. Whether you're seeking spiritual truth or simply exploring the Church's rich history, the Catholic Church stands as a beacon of faith, reason, and divine grace. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. God bless you.